Hello and welcome to HBM's Crypto-Corner for Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. We have quite a few things to talk about, so let's get started. First of all, Neanderthal physique, rethinking strength and adaptation through ribcage morphology. Neanderthals have long fascinated researchers for their unique adaptations to Ice Age climates and challenging environments. A new study in the Journal of Human Evolution presents a virtual reconstruction of the Shenandoah 3 ribcage, revealing distinct physiological traits that shaped their lives. The results not only affirm the bell-shaped thorax characteristic of Neanderthals, but also challenge assumptions about their cold-adapted body plan. A closer look at Neanderthal rib cages. The study compares Shenandoah 3's rib cage with another Neanderthal specimen, Kabara 2, and 58 modern human rib cages. Both Neanderthal specimens exhibited wider, deeper lower thoraxes than modern humans, resembling the chest shape of humans adapted to cold climates. These rib cages were larger, stockier, and less tapered, indicative of high lung capacity and efficient diaphragmatic breathing. Neanderthals likely had a larger respiratory system than Homo sapiens, supporting their high metabolic rates and active lifestyles, explained Dr. Jose Lopez Rey, the study's lead author. And this is the Shenandoah 3 rib cage, the Kabara 2 rib cage, and modern Homo sapiens rib cage. So as you can see, these appear to be more robust, perhaps, than a modern man. I'm not suggesting that Sasquatch are related to Neanderthals. Maybe they are over in Russia and China, perhaps. But here they're either Gigantopithecus or Paranthropus. I'm not really sure which. I mean, nobody really knows which right now. Nobody knows anything about Sasquatch right now, except speculation. That's about the only thing we do know about Sasquatch. Is speculation at this point. But still a very fascinating study here. And I'm going to, of course, include the link to this below so you guys can take a look at it. Now, here's an article from 2009, 15 years ago. It doesn't say who wrote it, but Joshua Blue Booze is credited at the end of the article. Bigfoot. The name evokes mystery, foreboding, a huge monster stalking the edge of civilization, and more than its share of silliness. Bigfoot is perhaps most associated with the ridiculous headlines of supermarket tabloids. Palin bags of Bigfoot. I was Bigfoot's love slave. Bigfoot to fight aliens. The beast was born in the summer of 1958 when construction workers building a road through the Northern California wilderness noticed mysterious tracks around their work site. They blamed Bigfoot, as they called him, for lost lunch boxes and misplaced tools. Actually, Bigfoot goes much further back than 1958. I think that's a mistake that Booze has made here. By the fall, the story reached the news wires, and Bigfoot went global as the tales about California's monster blended with similar accounts of the Canadian Sasquatch and the Himalayan abominable snowman or Yeti and Native American tales of wild men. Since then, interest in Bigfoot has ebbed and flowed. He was unpopular in the 1960s after Sir Edmund Hillary declared the abominable snowman a myth, but saw a revival in the 1970s after Roger Patterson claimed to have filmed Bigfoot. Most recently, media interest was peaked last year when two men claimed to have a Bigfoot body in a freezer. That turned out to be a Halloween costume stuffed with opossum innards. And that was, of course, the great Georgia body hoax of 2008. But no matter how silly Bigfoot might sometimes seem, the curiosity about the beast raises a serious question. What's the fascination with Bigfoot? Delusion and naivete play their part. In 1986, Anthony Wooldridge, while hiking through the Himalayas, photographed what he thought was a creature with a large square head. Anthropologist John Napier declared the picture proof of the Yeti's existence. A year later, Wooldridge admitted that he had been confused. The Yeti was a rock outcropping. Hoaxes, too, account for much of the Bigfoot lore. Reasons for excuse me. Reasons for hoaxing can be blatant: fame, fortune, fun, revenge. Back in the 1970s, Ray Pickens, a bricklayer from Arden, Washington, faked tracks because he resented the Bigfoot hunters who disparaged him as a hick. Now, last week I went on the coalition page, the Coalition for Science, the Coalition for Science, Critical Thinking, and Bigfoot Research. I was asking about Ray Pickens, if anybody knew anything about whether he was still around or not. I'm not really so sure he is still with us, but he did hoax tracks way back in the 70s a few times around the Arden, Washington area. And it's true because in the Mysterious Monsters, he mentioned about himself being considered a hick by some Bigfoot hunters because he didn't believe in Bigfoot. So he said he's going to show them who the hicks are. Then he went home and made boots. He made stompers, which were not designed to fool the scientists, but to fool the monster hunters. I'm not sure if the scientists really, I suppose, appreciated what Ray Pickens did. But I suppose they could understand it, seeing as how he had been called a hick for not believing in Bigfoot. So, interesting article by Joshua Blue Booze, although I don't agree with some of it. William Jivning on John Green's Sasquatch file and Russian wildman encounters. A recent video from the YouTube channel Creek Devil has caught the attention of the Bigfoot community. In the video, host William Jivning discusses John Green's third book, The Sasquatch File. Sasquatch is misspelled, as you can see. And his chapter on a trip to Russia by Rene Dahinden in the early 1970s. Now, they have spelled Rene Dahinden's name correctly before. I don't know why they just misspelled it here. They have spelled Rene Dahinden's name correctly before, so I don't know why they misspelled it in this article. Jevning shares Green's observation that despite the steady accumulation of reports and occasional flare-ups of activity, there has been no significant event in the search for Bigfoot since Roger Patterson's movie in 1967. However, Jevning notes that two significant events did occur in the early 1970s. Rene Dahinden's trip to Russia and the publication of Dr. Napier's book Bigfoot, The Indian Sasquatch and Myth and Reality. Dahinden's trip to Russia is particularly intriguing as he was able to meet with scientists and members of the Snowman research team in Moscow. Jevning shares details from Dahinden's report on his meeting with Lieutenant Colonel versus Karapetyan of the Soviet Army Medical Service, who had examined a human-shaped creature covered with shaggy hair in 1941. So some very interesting things going on. Discussion about John Green, his third book. And this is the video. I just wish they learned how to spell Rene Dahinden's last name and his first name as well, because they spelled it with two E's at the end rather than one. I mean, it's not a bad article. I expect more from the Squashable.com staff. Do better, guys. The creepy cryptids from Appalachia you probably haven't heard of. You don't want to run into these creatures in the woods after dark or ever. In July 2004, Dakota Cheeks and Ricky Joyce were hunting in a remote area of Breckinridge County, Kentucky, when they found one of their dogs dead. Based on the condition of her body, it was clear no normal predator had killed her. Her head was twisted completely around. They hopped on their four-wheelers, determined to scour the area for the creature responsible. Said the thing was 9 feet tall with white fur and long talons. When it saw them, it let out an ungodly, gut-curling growl and charged them, sending them running for the safety of their cabin. This might sound like a run-in with a particularly aggressive Bigfoot, but while Sasquatch encounters are common in Appalachia, Dakota and Ricky had come across a different local legend, the Sheep Squatch. Its portmanteau name reflects its appearance, combining the large, hairy, bipedal form of a Sasquatch with the woolly white fur and curving horns of a sheep. Huh. Talk about white things, white devils, devil dogs. Here's an alleged video of a possible Sasquatch, a white Sasquatch, caught in Pennsylvania. Possible origins of or explanations for white things. The many sightings of white things over the years have fueled abundant speculation about their origin. One theory centers around the connection between Sheep Squatch and Marion County. The TNT area where Rollins' sighting occurred was contaminated by explosives byproducts from a World War II munitions plant. This pollution is one proposed origin of Mothman, and some attribute this background to the Sheep Squatch too. I don't know. I mean, there are white Sasquatch, I'm sure. There's one that I saw in 1998. There are white Sasquatch. They have been seen. Sheep Squatch, I'm a bit dubious of. It sounds like perhaps what you might call mass hysteria or misidentification. I don't know, it's just kind of strange, just kind of weird. Sheep Squatch just doesn't sound plausible to me. I could be wrong, but it just doesn't sound plausible. Now here's something interesting, if I can scroll up. These are the 9 main counties where Bigfoot has been spotted. Now I recall seeing the Finding Bigfoot episode about the state of Maine. And there are areas in that state which are very similar to the Pacific Northwest. A lot of mountainous areas, a lot of forests, lots of cover, lots of food sources, lots of water for something like a Sasquatch to live, or a family of Sasquatch. Have you ever wondered if Bigfoot exists? Is it possible? I think I should say, is it possible? The legend of Sasquatch dates back to the late 1950s when, according to History.com, a letter detailing the discovery of large footprints was published along with a journalist's response to it in the Humboldt Times in California. Naturally, the story and mystery spread, and with it came reports from across the country of Bigfoot. They've continued, including more footprint findings to actual claimed sightings of the creature over the years. Now, apparently, there have been 19 main reports dating back to 1970. The most recent report was 2023 in Aroostook County. But it's the only reported sighting in that county. You'd think there'd be more sightings when compared to the southern, more populated counties, right? There have been no reported sightings in Franklin, Kennebec, Knox, Lincoln, Sagadahoc, Somerset, and Washington counties, according to the BFRO website, while 9 of Maine's 16 counties have at least one reported sighting of Bigfoot. Aroostook County, one sighting 2023. Waldo County, one sighting 2016. Cumberland County, one sighting 1973. Piscataquis County, one sighting 1970. Hancock County, 2 sightings 2020, 1996 or 1997. Penobscot County, 2 sightings 2020, 1973 or 1974. York County, 4 sightings 2017, 2016, 1985, 1974. Oxford County, 5 sightings 2022, 2020, 2016, 2001, 1998. And then the article goes on to talk about 19 times that Sasquatch have been reported in the state of Maine. Very interesting stuff. It's entirely possible, if there's enough food, water, and cover, that Sasquatch could exist there. Those are the 3 main things you need. Well, actually, there should be a 4th thing added. You need witnesses. You need a witness. You need food, water, shelter, and a witness. Those are the 4 things you need in order to have a Sasquatch report, or in order for Sasquatch to be plausible in an area. Very fascinating. And finally, 2024 features lowest number of official Nessie sightings in over a decade. A Loch Ness monster proved particularly elusive this past year, as the official number of recognized reports dropped to a dispiriting 3, the tally's lowest annual number in over a decade. Remarkably, the first on-site eyewitness account of 2024, which occurred in April, turned out to be the only one to meet the high standards of the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register, which has served as the standard bearer for Nessie cases since 1996. The 2 other reports to receive recognition from the site came by way of boats that captured anomalous sounds in September and a puzzling sonar picture in October. While the rather small number of reports may seem dire to some, it is not altogether out of the ordinary. To provide some perspective, 2024's total is the lowest number since 2013, when only 1 case received recognition. However, before that nadir, 7 out of the previous 12 years featured only 1 or 2 reports that made the proverbial grade. Additionally, 2024's official tally may also be a bit misleading, since the registry stopped recognizing webcam cases as they began to balloon at the start of the 2020s, which caused something of a controversy that culminated in 2022. To that end, were such virtual sightings recognized, 2024's total would wind up being a robust 10, if not more, since indefatigable monster hunter Eoin O. failed again, captured a bevy of possible Nessie appearances by way of the webcams that look out over the famed Scottish site. With that in mind, one need not despair for Nessie, as it may have simply been a fairly normal down year for on-site sightings with, one hopes, the number poised to pick up in 2025 and beyond. Well, that's assuming that what Eoin O. failed again actually saw was Nessie. and not misidentifications or wishful thinking. That's my only thing. I don't doubt his dedication, though. I certainly don't doubt that. But he may be seeing things, or he may be wanting to see things. You never know. Sometimes that's how the human brain works. Sometimes people want to see things and their mind can play tricks on them. It's happened with Sasquatch. On more than one occasion. It can happen with anything, really. With any cryptid or with any UFO. Now, of course, we know these mysterious drone sightings that have been taking place recently. Those are drones, they're not UFOs. It's not aliens. So, but yeah, 2024 was just not a good year for Nessie sightings, unfortunately. It seems like kind of a lull in the action, I guess. Who knows what 2025 will have in store? Who knows? And that's going to do it for this week. We want to thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are the heart of the show. I always say that, I always mean it. I'll continue to do this as long as you guys want me to. Next week, the shows will be on Monday. Next week, the show will be on Monday, early Monday morning, the 23rd. And then the following week, it'll be early Monday morning, the 30th, December 30th. 2024. And then we'll be back to the regular schedule in January on Wednesdays. Oh, by the way, January 8th is when lodging will open up for the 2025 Ohio Bigfoot Conference. I have to check the page as to exactly what time in the morning. I want to say 10 Eastern, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to check it. I believe it's at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Scroll down. Come on, scroll. Well, there was a post that said what day and what time. It's going to be January 8th of this year, of 2025. I'm trying to remember exactly what. Okay, January 8th. Yeah, here it is. Here it is, right here. January 8th, Wednesday, January 8th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Eastern. So it'll be 9 a.m. Central. For those who want to secure a room or perhaps a cabin at Salt Fork State Park for the 2025 Ohio Bigfoot Conference. So anyway, that's just a little mini announcement I thought I'd give you guys. Let you all know exactly what's going on with the lodging situation and what day it's going to be and what time it's going to be. So, until next Monday, y'all be good or be good at it. It's HBM's Crypto Corner.